lost as a result of artificial intelligence.
I will destroy humans.
There's something that changed in the field of AI in 2017.
The more data you pump into it, the more superpowers it gets.
Particularly at the lower end, unless you're doing these advanced things, they're gone.
The humanoid is designed to move boxes and stack supplies for large retailers and manufacturers.
Generative AI, large language models, things like ChatGPT, and these are incredibly powerful technologies. To believe otherwise is to bury your head in the sand.
So in terms of really replace jobs, is that a worry for you?
Customer service is a category that I could see there are just way fewer jobs relatively soon.
Are you scared?
We're all scared that a bad guy could grab it. Then something like cyber attacks, could be driven by an AI.
NVIDIA ushered in the AI revolution with its game-changing GPU.
Quadrillions of calculations a second. It's just insane numbers.
ChatGPT was released back in November. You get this Challenger jobs report. But this month, for the first time ever, they included a category for AI, 3,900 jobs lost.
More dangerous than mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production.
If it gets to be much smarter than us, it'll be very good at manipulation because it will have learned that from us. Very few examples of a more intelligent thing being controlled by a less intelligent thing. And it knows how to program, so it'll figure out ways of getting around restrictions we put on it.
Now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone.
The World Economic Forum predicts 100 million jobs will be taken by AI. Don't worry, says the WEF, because it will lead to long-term growth. The report says that in the next few years, 3% of jobs will be automated by AI. By the 2030s, that number will be 30% of jobs and 44% of workers replaced. If this trend continues, there's a chance AI will do most, if not all, of the jobs. I'm sure everyone knows that AI is about to change the future. It's not just the World Economic Forum either. Most experts believe that AI will replace human jobs. Some believe it'll be 50 million jobs, while others believe 300 million. The numbers are all over the place because, after all, no one can predict the future. But one thing that everyone agrees on, the world will not be the same. Many economists believe that once AI is mature, economic mobility will be worse than what it is now. Meaning if you're poor, you're going to stay poor forever. And if you're rich, you're going to stay rich forever. And as you probably have heard countless times, the middle class is already shrinking. The rich are getting richer, and now, with AI, the future is even bleaker. Just look around. Companies are hiring less and making more. Companies are more productive with less people, thanks to AI. Countries around the world are crashing. Citizens are struggling, and life is getting harder and harder. It's only a matter of time before it's everywhere. Or is it? Let's dig deeper in today's video. How dangerous is AI? What's likely to happen? And lastly, but most importantly, how can an average person like you and me prepare? There's a reason my videos keep getting restricted and demonetized, and that's because I tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable. So let's talk about the true reality of this AI revolution and what the future holds. I will be honest with you all, and in return, all I ask is that you guys help me out just a little by hitting that like button below. All right, let's start. According to a Rutgers University report, 7 in 10 US workers say they're very or somewhat concerned about employers using AI in human resource decision-making. 3 in 10 are worried about their jobs being eliminated by AI. If you use any of the new AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, you know how powerful they already are, and what's more important is the fact that they are the worst they will ever be, meaning they're only going to get better. In fact, there's a company called Cognition Lab that has built a software engineer AI, meaning an AI that is already trying to replace the people who built it. Here's the guy behind Devin as a teenager.
Question is, what is the value of 255? Scott.
5,000.
5,000 is the correct answer. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can be arranged to... Scott.
60.
60 is the correct answer.
The most surprising part of this AI revolution is that many people thought that it would replace low-income jobs like cashiers or servers or truck drivers. And though that is happening, AI is also threatening jobs like sales, accounting, and analysts. A lot of people followed the traditional path, went to college, studied for a degree, started a career in hopes of building up a life. And now AI is ruining their career path and their future plans. The worst part, or the best part, depending on who you are, is that this is all just the beginning. AI is still in its infancy phase, meaning it's here in the S-curve of innovation and adoption. As more and more people adopt AI, more and more tools and businesses will be created to fill the demand until one day AI is doing everything. If we follow this S-curve to the extreme and play it out, economically speaking, there will be a point where AI will be able to do everything and anything that a business needs. I mean, think about it. Let's say you're a car company. There's an AI company that says they will have built robots, systems, and software that can replace your factory. Not work in your factory, just replace it altogether. Meaning, let's say the company gets an order, the software will notice it, it will start ordering components, start manufacturing pieces, and assembling them into a car. All without any or minimal human oversight. Again, this is just a disclaimer. This is very far in the future, if possible at all. Current AI technology is still very far off. But one thing that is alarming is the rate of progress in the AI sector. What seems like just a year ago, chatbots were a joke, and AI made videos from commands that were like, this. And now, AI can make videos like this. And chatbots can think and learn and fix their mistakes, just like humans.
Okay, let's put my text description in, tell it to translate this into this obscure Google Apps script, see what it does. And it wrote the code for me in a few seconds. And I felt this pit of the stomach, existential horror, and at that moment I couldn't explain why, but I figured it out later. It's just predicting the next word. The code it gave back was a bit wrong, but frankly, my first attempt would have been a bit wrong. So I asked it in plain English to fix a couple of the errors that I'd spotted, and it did, and that version was nearly right. Not quite though. It used a really strange approach. I tried to work out why it had done that, and then I realized I could just ask. And it told me, in English, why it had done that. And it had made the same mistake I did with my backup. Because turns out Google's documentation is wrong. Google Apps Script itself treats labels as attaching to threads, not messages. Google wrote their own programming language wrong. So I told ChatGPT about the error, and it fixed the script. It bodged its way around Google's bad documentation to build the thing I was actually asking for.
It's so good that even Tom Scott was worried. I think it's a little calming knowing that I'm not the only one worrying. His worry does have a lot of support for it. If AI continues progressing at the rate it is, there's a chance humans are not needed to do the stuff that humans want. If machines can perform our jobs better than us and for cheaper, it's hard to see a world where companies don't just hire machines. And let's say there are companies who take a moral stand against using AI. They will likely just run out of business because their competitors will have cheaper products. It's already happening. Watch this.
Dropbox laid off 16% of its workforce in April, but not to replace workers. Like IBM, it said it wanted to invest more in AI, which meant cutting elsewhere.
So we see demand growing for these products a lot faster than we could have anticipated. And I think you could have seen the technology coming, but just the way that the interest went vertical is something that's way ahead of schedule from our expectation.
The amount of change we're going to see over the next 5 years, 10 years, will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, etc. So, and what that enables is the automation of automation. The people who were writing software, they're gone, right? The people that
because the software's writing itself.
It's doing itself, right? It's just math. All that is being automated. And so now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone.
The secondary effect of this will be that many people just don't have income, with no way to earn a living and feed their families. Sure, a very few select will have an exuberant amount of money, even more than the richest billionaires today, but most people will have to depend on the government for their livelihood. And that's a problem in itself. It's not like the government is good at taking care of people, but we'll talk about this later. Companies will also stop caring for people who have no money and focus their offerings for people who can afford them, like the other company owners. In this scenario, things can get bleak quickly. I don't want to speculate what happens next, and I want to emphasize again that this is still very far in the future, if it's possible at all. But many people are worried about this possibility. So I thought it's fair to bring it to your guys' attention. I don't think it will happen, at least based on how AI works now. There's one big problem, though. The problem is with how AI is trained. It's trained using what's out there, meaning the texts, the books, Reddit threads, comments, and videos. It's pretty much like humans, actually, if you think about it. Elon Musk recently joked about this too, saying that raising a baby is like prompt training an AI. Remember that saying that there's nothing new under the sun? There's no truly original thought, sentence, article, book, or movie or video. It's all a remix of something that already exists, and that is a remix of something that existed before that. So it's true that I actually want to challenge you guys. If you think you have an original thought or idea, just comment it down below. Then either I or someone else in the comments will probably prove you wrong. I guarantee that you are wrong if you think you have a good idea that's original. In fact, it's not just good ideas. Even bad ideas are not original. Everything has been thought of before. This is where the problem starts. Or I guess this is where opportunity arises. At least that's how I'm looking at it. AI is for sure going to change the world. It will affect your job and my job. It will affect all your families and friends. But it's not going to be as bad as people are making it out to be. Much like revolutions before this, people lose jobs and opportunities arise for people who are looking. Everyone who is worried about AI is overlooking one important key problem: the problem with how AI is trained. This problem creates opportunities for many people to take advantage of. Just how there were opportunities during the Industrial Revolution, there were opportunities during the Technologies Revolution, and there were opportunities when recessions happened. So, before we get into opportunities that might be present today in this AI revolution, let's look back in history to see opportunities that people took advantage of during previous revolutions. Because history may not repeat, but it often rhymes. Lessons from the past can be building blocks of the future. The Industrial Revolution happened in 1760 through about 1840. The first time in humanity we had economic growth. Countries were producing more stuff and getting more efficient, all thanks to machines. Of course, the rich got richer. That's the case with all revolutions, as you will see. Money gives you leverage to seek opportunities and take advantage of them. But what's even more enticing is the fact that major revolutions like this also present opportunities for the average person to take advantage of as well. Let's take two examples from the Industrial Revolution. The first one, a little-known businessman by the name of Peter Cooper. Peter was a fifth child in a middle-class family of a hat maker in New York. That's to say, he had very little family money to start with. Early in his career, he tried his hands at coach making, cabinet making, hat making, brewery, and grocery. He even developed a cloth shearing machine and tried to sell it. But he had little to no success in any of these. It's important to note, he did work extremely hard in all these ventures. But as many of you likely know, hard work alone isn't enough to make it in the business world. You need to work hard on something that has little to no competition, and that's one of the best ways to guarantee success. So, continuing our story, in 1821, Peter decided to buy a glue factory, the same factory where he would buy glue from for his grocery store. While visiting the factory, he noticed something, an opportunity. The way the current owner was heating up the glue, a lot of the raw material was being wasted. So he decided to buy the factory for $2,000 and changed up the way the glue was heating up. In the first year, he made $10,000. That means he got his money back in just a few months. He then also started freezing the glue, improving the product line, and implemented new machines in the whole business process to improve efficiency. In just a few years, he was earning $100,000 a year, a vast income for the 1820s, and a great return on investment for a business he paid $2,000 for. He used this money to invest in real estate, developed the first steam engine for America, and funded other businesses. By the 1950s, he was one of the richest men in America. And it all started on the back of an opportunity he noticed while the Industrial Revolution was picking up. Remember, he was working hard before, but opportunity is what changed it. That was the Industrial Revolution, though. There's no way that someone found opportunity during the Great Depression, right? Well, wait until you hear about the Getty family, the Kennedy family, Howard Hughes, and many more. Many of the richest families in recent history got their start around the Great Depression. That's because chaos creates opportunities. And that's why, if you think chaos is coming in the future, you should focus on searching for opportunities instead of panicking, as we will talk about soon. Coming back to the Great Depression, it was a time well known for people standing in long lines to get food. Many discount stores were started during this time because customers wanted it, and families behind them had a secret advantage. At least $7 billion families worth a total of $31.9 billion owe their fortunes to young businesses that started during the Great Depression. Some of these families couldn't afford much food during this time. They could borrow some money, or maybe work an extremely taxing job to get some food at the end of the day, but this was not a long-term solution. Many of these families opened small grocery stores in their homes or in abandoned storefronts. They would then buy stocks of non-perishable food because if they could not sell their goods, at least they and their family could live off of the unsold inventory and avoid hunger or starvation. This strategy gave start to Publix, the biggest grocery store chain in Florida today, Little Debbie Cream Pies, E&J Gallo Winery, and many more. This is not to say the Great Depression was not hard times for millions around the country, but it also gave opportunities to the select few who noticed, and if it wasn't for the chaos of the Depression, they may have never had these businesses. Now, before we talk about the AI revolution, I just want to quickly go over the tech revolution of the late 1900s, arguably the closest thing to AI. Bezos started Amazon because he saw how fast the internet was growing, and he wanted to be part of this opportunity. Google was started because more and more people wanted things online. Tinder took the bar dating scene and put it online. YouTube took TV and put it online. Mark Cuban took the radio and put it online. A lot of these were old ideas just with a new spin. It was an opportunity to do something early and benefit. It's very important to jump on opportunities quickly because winning becomes a lot easier. I like running a race when no one else is running. And we'll talk about this in just a second. Amazon's AWS is a great example of this. AWS alone made $88 billion last year and was responsible for 74% of Amazon's profits. It's 4 times bigger than Amazon's shopping business in terms of profits. In simplified terms, AWS is Google Drive for companies to store their data. It launched in 2006, and there was no competition for like 7 years. Meaning AWS was the only business offering a service that pretty much most online companies wanted, and it was growing at a crazy rate.
This never happened. This is like the greatest piece of business luck in the history of business so far as I know. We faced no like-minded competition for 7 years. It's unbelievable.
That's one of the rarest opportunities, even when compared to others we talked about in this video. Today, AWS is the biggest player in the cloud market that's worth almost $500 billion per year. A big part of success is seeing an opportunity and acting on it before anyone else. Usually, companies like these arise during chaos. This chaos could be caused by anything, a recession or depression, or a big shift in how the world works, like industrial and digital revolution. People have found opportunities in most chaos. Some opportunities that no one still knows about. It happened during the Industrial Revolution. It happened again in the Great Depression. It happened in the digital revolution, and it will happen again in the AI revolution. In fact, many experts believe that the AI revolution is going to be more chaotic than anything we've ever seen in the past. The OpenAI CEO, Sam Altman, has said publicly that the government should offer people free income for 5 to 10 years once AI replaces most jobs, so people can get retrained for new skills in a post-AI world. Now, I'm not saying you have to believe everything a CEO is saying, but if there's even the slightest chance that your livelihood would be affected by the coming AI advancements, then it's better to start preparing for it earlier rather than later. The earlier you start looking for opportunities, the better you are positioned to take advantage of it before other competition comes in. Imagine taking advantage of an opportunity is like running a race. The goal here is to win the race. How easy would it be to win if there are just 5 people running, or in AWS's case, no one was running except you? Now imagine running a race with millions of others. It's nearly impossible to win at that point. Of course, some people will win that race, but that's not a race you want to run unless you have no other choice. But when chaos ensues, everyone does have a choice. They can panic and wait, just like millions of others, or they can look for new opportunities while the others are panicking. With this AI revolution, many different opportunities will arise. You just need to find one to take advantage of early. You can probably spot multiple opportunities if you are looking, but you are guaranteed to never spot any if you never look. Then, you pick opportunities where you have some expertise, or some skill, or some kind of advantage that others don't have. Now, this could be anything, and it's something no one else can tell better than you. You know what you know, and you know what you have been through, and only you can decide how that can be helpful in the future. Like in my case, based on my past experience and skills, I think YouTube is likely the best opportunity I have. One thing AI is not good at least not yet, is telling stories. Like this one. AI can edit, give you research, facts, and a load of other things like mimic my voice, but it doesn't know human emotions. It may never truly understand human emotions. It requires human experience and struggle to make stories that inspire others, make them think, and make them feel. Now, I know you're not going to sit here and listen about YouTube, at least not all of you. You are mainly here for economic and geopolitical analysis. And that's why I made an unlisted video for people who are actually interested. There, I talk about how I'm focusing on learning more about storytelling and making my videos better, how I'm practicing more through other channels like this one to become even better at this YouTube game. The goal is just to learn more with people who are interested in this. So, if you're interested, definitely check out the video by clicking on the link down below or in the card above. I would love to meet and talk to more people who are interested in YouTube.